Bachelor contestant slams Grant Ellis for being irresponsible. April 7, 2025. Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Bachelor Nation News fans. A contestant from Grant Ellis' season of The Bachelor is throwing some shade his way. Nobody seems to be holding anything back when it comes to Grant's performance as the leading man. This particular contestant did not have a pleasant time on the reality show and is speaking her mind. In fact, she has deemed Grant as an irresponsible bachelor. Who is it and what did she say? Keep reading to get all the details. Bachelor contestant thinks Grant was irresponsible. Bachelor Grant Ellis made some obvious mistakes during his season of the show. He's even been accused of leading multiple women on throughout his journey. Now, one particular contestant is calling him out and saying that he was a very irresponsible lead. Carolina Quixeno appeared on the Bachelor Happy Hour podcast, where she spent more than an hour bashing Grant and his tactics on the show. She was a part of the majority of the drama that occurred in this season of The Bachelor. Carolina felt that Grant led her on along with many others as well. He ended up sending her home just before hometowns, and it came as a complete shock to her. Just before breaking up with her, Carolina says Grant told her he was ready to move forward with her. Then he blindsided her and sent her home at the rose ceremony. She said, "I was delusional enough to think the whole time it was either me or Alicia, because I knew that we had gotten the most reassurance, or from what I had heard." Carolina didn't stop there. She continued speaking her side of the story and said, "And when she got that other one-on-one, I thought it was gonna be her, but it's like part of me is shocked, but part of me isn't because Grant kept saying all these things to everyone, and he was reckless." She also said that Grant was an irresponsible bachelor. She's ready to move on with her life. Most fans in Bachelor Nation have been saying all along that Grant Ellis should never have been cast as the Bachelor. Carolina appears to agree with that. She shared that to be the lead, a bachelor has to have a backbone and stand up for what is right. Plus, she thinks that to be a successful lead, one needs to know that their words do hold value and shouldn't be thrown around. She also said it's important to not be easily influenced by other people while on this journey. Carolina also felt that production was partly to blame for things that went down. The edit she had made her look like the villain. She simply said she wanted to know more about Grant before accepting a proposal. Plus, after the women tell all, she wasn't allowed to do media like the other contestants did. Fans have continued to slam her for the way she was on the show. She seemed to have confrontations with several of the ladies. What do you think about Carolina saying that Grant was a very irresponsible bachelor? Do you agree? Stay tuned for more updates on all your Bachelor Nation favorites. The Bachelor contestant slams Grant Ellis for being irresponsible. Here's what went down. The reality TV world was turned upside down when one former The Bachelor contestant boldly slammed Grant Ellis for being irresponsible in front of millions. While fans of the hit dating show know him for his charm, good looks, and a complicated love story with Juliana Pasquarosa, what has been going on behind the scenes might just change everything. As the dust settles after the dramatic final rose ceremony, one contestant, who has remained largely under the radar up until now, is finally breaking her silence. She's exposing the truth about Grant Ellis' behavior, calling him out for his reckless attitude and lack of responsibility in the most explosive way possible. Who is this brave contestant? And why does she feel compelled to speak out against the fan-favorite bachelor? What happened behind the scenes that made her go from silent supporter to outspoken critic? Get ready for an inside look into one of the most shocking moments from the show that nobody saw coming. The reality check. It's no secret that The Bachelor often leaves its contestants with mixed emotions, with many feeling vulnerable and conflicted about their relationships with the leading man. But when you hear what one contestant has to say about Grant Ellis, you'll be left questioning everything you thought you knew about him. Her name is Alana Webb, a woman who was previously eliminated during the early weeks of the season. But even though she didn't make it to the final stages of the show, Alana has certainly been making waves since her departure, and now she's ready to unleash a bombshell that could completely alter how Grant is viewed by Bachelor Nation. In an exclusive interview with Reality TV Weekly, Alana didn't hold back. She described her time on the show as eye-opening and shared that what happened behind the scenes was far different from what viewers saw on television. The interview that rocked Bachelor Nation. Alana revealed shocking details about Grant's behavior that immediately raised eyebrows. According to Alana, Grant often displayed what she described as an irresponsible attitude when it came to handling his relationships with the women. But this wasn't just a case of a couple of bad decisions here and there. It was a pattern of behavior that left many contestants feeling disrespected and exploited. He wasn't ready for this, Alana admitted during the interview. I don't think he ever took this seriously. It was almost as if he was just going through the motions. There were so many moments when we all felt like we were just pawns in his game. It wasn't about love. It was about power. This admission sent shockwaves through the Bachelor community. For a while, Grant had been considered one of the more genuine leads on the show. His charm and vulnerability had won over both the women on the show and the audience. So, what was really going on behind closed doors? The irresponsible choices that left women heartbroken. Alana wasn't the only one who felt this way. Multiple contestants who had appeared on The Bachelor alongside Grant spoke off the record about his behavior. One of them, Maria Vance, who had been in the running for his final rose, shared that Grant had made promises to her that he never intended to keep. I thought he was sincere, Maria confessed. But looking back, it's like he was just stringing us along. I don't think he ever truly cared about any of us. He just wanted the spotlight and the attention, and that's not fair to us. According to Maria, Grant had been incredibly irresponsible when it came to managing his connections with the women. He'd tell us one thing, and then we'd find out he was doing something totally different behind our backs, she added. It wasn't just one or two mistakes, it was constant, and it left a lot of us feeling hurt and betrayed. A pattern of deception. Could it be that Grant had a history of careless behavior when it came to relationships? Alana certainly believes so. She claimed that, even before he joined the show, Grant had a tendency to avoid accountability for his actions. There were rumors floating around even before the show aired about how Grant wasn't always the most dependable guy in relationships, she said. I don't think people knew the half of it. Alana explained that the most upsetting thing about Grant's actions wasn't just the betrayal, but the fact that he seemed to show no real remorse. It's like he never took responsibility for how he treated us, she said. We were just part of his journey to get on TV and become famous. He never really understood how much he hurt us. The women who had been involved with Grant were left feeling as though they had been manipulated into playing a game for his benefit. And that's when the irresponsible accusations started to pour in. The final rose, was it all a lie? When the finale aired, Grant's decision to choose Juliana Pasquarosa shocked some viewers. For weeks, many believed that he was truly falling for Lydia Gare, who seemed to be the front-runner for his heart. But when the final rose ceremony came around, Lydia was blindsided, and Grant ended up giving his heart to Juliana. Looking back, it wasn't even a real choice, said Lydia, who has since spoken to friends about how heartbroken she was after the final. It was all for the cameras. It wasn't real. He made a decision that he thought would make the best TV moment. That's what hurt the most. I didn't just lose out on love, I lost out on the real experience. Lydia, like many others, now believes that Grant wasn't there for the right reasons, and Alana's statements only served to reinforce that belief. He wanted to be the Bachelor star. He wanted the fame, the recognition, and the following, Lydia added. But he didn't understand what it means to be responsible for someone's feelings. Fans react. Did Grant's irresponsibility ruin his image? Fans of The Bachelor have been quick to weigh in on the controversy. For many, the revelation that Grant was irresponsible in his relationships has been a tough pill to swallow. Viewers who once admired him now feel betrayed, as though the season they watched was nothing more than a carefully scripted performance. Grant Ellis was the Bachelor I thought would be different, one fan wrote on social media. But now it's clear he was just playing the game. I can't believe he led all those women on, especially Licia. She deserved better. Another fan commented, "I always thought Grant was genuine. I didn't want to believe that he could be so irresponsible with people's emotions, but now it's hard to ignore what's being said." As more contestants speak out about Grant's behavior, the Bachelor community is starting to question whether the show's obsession with creating a dramatic love story is causing contestants to act irresponsibly, knowing that the end goal is fame and recognition, not real love. The aftermath: what happens next? With the accusations of irresponsibility and deception swirling, it's clear that Grant Ellis' reputation has been significantly tarnished. The women who were involved in his season, especially those who felt used or manipulated, are finding solidarity in each other as they come forward with their own stories. Grant, for his part, has yet to publicly address the growing backlash. Many fans are waiting for him to issue a statement explaining his actions, but so far, nothing has been forthcoming. Whether he will take responsibility for his behavior or continue to stay silent remains to be seen. In the meantime, the other women who were a part of the show are beginning to find their own paths forward. Many are now using their platforms to speak out against the way they were treated, and some have hinted at plans to start a podcast or a YouTube channel sharing the untold stories from behind the scenes of The Bachelor. Will Grant Ellis ever recover? Only time will tell if Grant Ellis can recover from this public relations nightmare. His path forward will depend on how he handles the accusations and whether he is able to show real accountability for his actions. But for now, it seems that Grant has lost much of the support he once had, leaving fans and former contestants alike questioning his true character. One thing is certain, though: the Bachelor franchise has once again proven that what happens behind the scenes can be just as dramatic, if not more so, than what we see on TV. And with each new revelation, the truth about Grant Ellis and the Bachelor Nation's perception of him becomes even murkier. Stay tuned, because this story is far from over.